Part 40. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 391. Chapter 391 Are You Having an Affair 1. Chapter 391 Are You Having an Affair 1. While eating, I could feel Murong's burning eyes looking at her, while Murong 11's ambiguous eyes kept looking back and forth between them. She was going crazy. She was driven crazy by Murong, and she couldn't stop him. If Murong continued to torment him, no one would know that the two of them had an affair last night. After breakfast, I came to Murong with the excuse that she had something to do. Then she dragged him to the room and used violence to solve the problem. She beat Murong until his nose was bruised and his face was swollen. After he repeatedly promised not to tell anyone what happened last night, and the entire Murong family wanted to keep her coming here today a secret, so they let Murong go. The smile on Murong's face became even brighter after being severely beaten. I couldn't help but roll her eyes. Is he a masochist? Being beaten and still smiling so happily is not something a normal person should cry about. The weird thing is indeed weird and should not be thought of with normal people's thinking. When I was about to return home, she was stopped by someone. Yuking approached I with a livid complexion. Seeing I's cold face, the hatred in her eyes became even stronger. Tang Xinglu also came with Yuking. After being lectured by her mother and grandmother, she became angrier and more angry, so she sneaked out and wanted to cause trouble for Tang Xinglu also found Yuking together, one more person and more strength. Of course, not only the two of them came, but also a group of thugs, all brought by Tang Xinglu. Looked at them indifferently, with a sneer in her heart. What do you want to do? Yuking frowned and looked at I's face, feeling particularly disgusted at the moment. We want to come to you to prove something. Explain. What is your relationship with brother Yu? Are you having an affair? When I heard what they said, she raised her eyebrows slightly and thought about why they said that. I don't know what you are talking about. Teacher Mei, it's you. Did you and brother Yu do something sorry for fashion this morning? Yuking gritted her teeth when she said these words, hating I very much. Sister Yuking, it's her, do you still have to doubt her? Tang Xinglu said impatiently, relying on the fact that she had brought a group of thugs. She was not afraid of I at all. Looking at I's expression, she didn't even have to hide her disgust for her. I don't know what you are talking about. I heard them talking about Teacher Mei and guessed that they mistakenly thought her sister was her and discovered the relationship between her sister and her brother-in-law. Tang Xinglu laughed loudly, stretched out her hand and pushed hard. You continue to pretend, do you think I don't know you? You obviously have my second brother, but you still seduce my eldest brother, you shameless, I feel sick when I see you. Tang Xinglu's unpleasant words directly made I feel cold. Regardless of whether Tang Xinglu was Tang Feishan's sister or not, she didn't want to endure it. Anyway, she had broken up with Tang Feishan, so she didn't need to tolerate his family anymore. Tang Xinglu reached out to push her, and she pushed Tang Xinglu politely. How could Tang Xinglu's strength be compared to hers? She pushed Tang Xinglu to the ground with just a little force. Tang Xinglu didn't expect Li to take action directly. Damn it, Li, how dare you push me? Believe it or not, I will prevent you from marrying into the Tang family. I don't care, Li said nonchalantly. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 392. Chapter 392 Are you having an affair too? Chapter 392 Are you having an affair too? Yuking knelt down to help Tang Xinglu up, and directed her anger at Li. Do you think you will have the last laugh like this? Brother Yu is only interested in you for a moment. He is already married. It is impossible for him to marry you. If his wife knows your existence, we don't need to do anything. Chi Lili thought it was ridiculous and shook her head with a sneer. Then what does this have to do with you? You, Chi Yuking, are not Tang Yu's wife, so you are not qualified to teach me a lesson. Besides, Tang Yu and I are not at all the kind of relationship you think, let alone having an affair. I'm not afraid at all. You guys. If you don't want to be beaten, go away quickly and don't show up in front of me. Chi Lili snorted coldly and walked towards home. Tang Xinglu was so angry that she didn't expect Chi Lili to be so arrogant. She dared to attack her future sister-in-law before she married into the Tang family. If she married into the Tang family in the future, she would not be stepped on and bullied at will. Come on, Tang Xinglu roared angrily, and a group of thugs behind her rushed forward. A fist was swung at her, and Chi Lili quickly dodged it, looked at the fist that was close at hand, grabbed it and turned it, and a pig-like scream came from the opponent's mouth. The thugs came up one by one, and there were quite a few of them, 7 or 8 of them. Chi Lili was not polite at all. Even Tang Yu was amazed by Chi Lili's skills and did not dare to provoke her easily. Tang Xinglu was still in elementary school when Chi Lili won championships in several national competitions. She can easily deal with a dozen thugs, let alone 7 or 8. Even if they are professional thugs, she can still deal with them easily. Within 5 minutes, most of the people were beaten. Tang Xinglu and Chi Yuking saw something was wrong and were about to run away. How could Chi Lili let them just leave like that? She picked up a stone and threw it at them. The pace on his feet also rushed over quickly, grabbing Tang Xinglu's hair and pulling it back, and beat Tang Xinglu and Chi Yuking together until they lay on the ground and wailed. The scene of all 10 people lying down and shouting in pain was particularly interesting. Chi Lili watched them rolling on the ground, feeling a little relieved because of the pain of broken love. This group of people came here to cause trouble. They did not understand Chi Lili's skills and were not well prepared, so they came here to cause trouble. Chi Lili also had a good time. She was in great pain after breaking up with Tang Feishan yesterday. She had no place to vent her pain and could only drink to drown her sorrows. This morning I learned that she drank to relieve her worries and got into an accident and had a relationship with Murong Yet. From now on, it will be even harder to get rid of this shameless man. She had no place to vent her anger and sadness. At this time, Tang Xinglu and the others came to trouble her heart again. How could she let go of this opportunity? She never takes the initiative to trouble anyone, but that doesn't mean that she will be indifferent when trouble comes to her, and she will even repay the other person tenfold. After giving Tang Xinglu and Chi Yuking a lesson, Chi Lili felt a little relieved from the pain in her heart. If you dare to trouble me again in the future, I will take revenge on you. If you have the courage, continue to trouble me. I will let you know that I, Chi Lili, do not call my friends the title of Leye for nothing, Chi Lili said coldly. He snorted and turned around to go home. When Chi Lili returned to the room, the cruel words Tang Feishan said yesterday echoed in her mind. The reason why Chi Lili went to drink yesterday was because she received a call from Tang Feishan. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 393. Chapter 393 Are You Having an Affair 3. Chapter 393 Are You Having an Affair 3. Tang Feishan told her on the phone that he didn't love him at all, that he couldn't stand her character for a long time, and even ordered her not to appear in his life, which would only make him distressed. He hoped that she could be as cool as when she left. Don't think about marrying her again. Chi Lili listened to Tang Feishan's words quietly and hung up the phone silently. She was already in pain. After listening to Tang Feishan's heartless words, she had no place to express her grief. She heard that drinking can make people temporarily forget the pain, so she ran to drink. Unexpectedly. At this moment, Qian Yuman was going crazy, really going crazy. She couldn't find Qi Lili when she got home, and even went to the Tang Dynasty group to find Tang Feishan. She learned that Tang Feishan had asked for leave today and would not come to the company for the next few days. When asked about Tang Yuj, he also said that he was not at home. She couldn't find her sister anywhere, and Tang Feishan couldn't be found anywhere. She knew in her heart that something must have happened, otherwise how could they not find one of them? After searching for a day, Qian Yuman could only ask Tang Yuj for help. She really had no choice. Tang Yuj also spent a whole night before confirming Qi Lili's whereabouts and sending the news to Qian Yuman. Qi Lili and Tang Feishan met yesterday. Tang Feishan now lives in the suburbs. Lili went out for a night out drinking last night. Is now at home. Qian Yuman knew that the situation was bad, and her sister actually went to drink. It could be said that the matter was very serious, otherwise she would not have let her drink to relieve her sorrow. It seems that what happened yesterday caused them to quarrel. Qian Yuman felt even more guilty, feeling guilty that she had harmed her sister. She was ready to raise her head to see her sister and the others. I hope they are okay. As long as it is explained clearly that Teacher Mei is Qian Yuman, the misunderstanding between them can be resolved. If my sister and the others broke up, Qian Yuman would have to blame herself to death. Qian Yuman ran home anxiously. When she returned home, she saw Qi Lil looking at her phone in a daze. There was a plate of fruit pulp in front of her, with deep sadness in her eyes. Lili, sister, I'm sorry for you. Qian Yuman rushed over with a sad face and hugged her sister's arm. Qi Lili looked at her sister in confusion. Which drama was she acting in? Did Meng Jianglu cry at the Great Wall? Sister, what are you doing? Don't hold me and cry. Qi Lili's cold face showed a trace of confusion. What is her sister doing? Qian Yuman shook her head, blaming herself and saying sadly. I went to Mr. Tang's house yesterday, but in the morning Fei Shen discovered what happened between me and Mr. Tang. Did you reveal your secret? Qi Lil said in surprise. It's not just an exposure, he may have misunderstood you, thinking that the person he saw was you, and mistakenly thought that you were having an affair with his elder brother. Qian Yuman slowly talked about what happened, almost crying as he spoke. Qi Lili calmly listened to what her sister said, with a hint of expectation in her cold eyes, and then dimmed as she thought of something. Sister, let's find my brother-in-law quickly and explain our relationship clearly. Don't let Feishan misunderstand you. I couldn't find you all day yesterday and I was worried to death. We broke up, Qi Lil said calmly. Although she still feels that it was like a dream, they still broke up. This is an indisputable fact. She is trying to make herself accept it. Although she knows it is difficult, she still force yourself to accept it. Qian Yuman choked on the words that came to her lips and burst into tears. Knowing that her sister and the others had broken up, she felt extremely guilty. Welcome to join the VIP reader group, group number 4558757740. Husband, the bed is about to collapse. Official VIP group, please write down your subscription nickname when joining the group. Please send a screenshot of the fan value to the administrator within 1 hour to join the group. Disciples need 2000 points to enter, those who are less than full can add after full. Recommended votes, monthly bills, bank notes, continue to contribute. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 394. Chapter 394. Are you having again 4? Chapter 394. Are you having again 4? Sister, it's all my fault. It's all my fault. I couldn't help but go see Mr. Tang yesterday and was pulled into the room by him. I won't be misunderstood by Fei Shen. It doesn't matter. You broke up because of a misunderstanding. Just explain it clearly. Sister, forget it. Chi-Lil reached out and held Tianyuman. Being misunderstood this time was just a trigger point. Chi-Lili, I said lonely. Actually, during this period, I felt that he was a little distant from me, especially after my miscarriage. I felt that the distance between me and him was even further. I always felt that he had something to say, but he couldn't bear to say it. He and we didn't know each other for a long time. It was only half a month after we proposed. He might have wanted to break up with me for a long time. It was just because I had a baby in my belly that he could bear it. This time, he pretended to have a miscarriage, so he broke up with me naturally. Separate. Sister, don't make random guesses. Maybe Faishan doesn't think so. Sister, don't worry about this matter. If he really cares about me, he will come to me. Sooner or later he will know about your existence. If he knows about your existence, he has not come to me, which means that you really don't want to be with me. Let her retain a little hope and a little self-esteem, and she dare not go to him. What if he insists on breaking up after the explanation is clear? She didn't want to suffer a second injury, that kind of pain was too painful. Sister, it's wrong for you to handle things this way. You always hide everything. How would Faishan know if you don't tell him? Maybe he was in a bad mood because he had a visit with his uncle in those days. Maybe he was sad that the child was gone because of your miscarriage. Why would I neglect to take care of you? Chi-Lili shook her head. Maybe I don't have this fate with him. Tianyuman was simply angry and anxious. She didn't expect that her sister would be so timid when it came to relationships, completely subverting her understanding of her. I found that you lack trust. You kept it secret from Faishan even though you were not pregnant. Why don't you explain what happened this time? If you don't go, then I will. Tianyuman stood up and walked out quickly. She couldn't pretend that there was a misunderstanding between her sister and her brother-in-law without explaining it. Her sister didn't dare to go, so she went in person. Sister Chi-Lil stood up and wanted to chase her, but stopped after taking a few steps. Maybe I really think too much. Just give yourself a glimmer of hope and give them one more possibility. Chi-Lili no longer chased her, but sat at home, looking at her phone in trance, looking at the sweet photos of them on the phone, feeling heartbroken. Mr. Tang, come pick me up quickly. Tianyuman called Tangyuj after leaving the house and asked her to come to her immediately. She had to explain it alone. Maybe she couldn't explain it clearly, so she had to bring Tangyuj to explain it with her. For the happiness of her sister, she must work hard to untie the knot between them. Honey, I'm at the company, please wait for me for half an hour. Okay, Tianyuman sighed helplessly. Since she found out that Tangyuj was the chairman of the emigrant group, Tangyuj didn't explain it to her. She also knew about Tangyuj's affairs, so the two of them had a tacit understanding and didn't ask. Tangyuj moved to the table when dealing with work matters. He used to go to the study to surf the internet, and sometimes held video conferences with the door closed. She used to think he was chatting with some friend, but now she realized that he was always working. Although Tangyuj, as the chairman, is not as busy as Murangya, there are still many things that require his advice. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 395. Chapter 395 I've liked you since childhood 1. Chapter 395 I've liked you since childhood 1. Tianyuman was about to go home and wait for Tangyuj to pick her up, when someone called her. Manman Wang Tiankai waved to Tianyuman at the door of the villa, holding a fish tank in his left hand. Tianyuman saw Wang Tiankai, snorted coldly, turned around and walked home. She has not forgotten that not long ago, Wang Tiankai forcibly kissed her in front of Tangyuj. After that, because of encounters with gangsters and other things, she never met Wang Tiankai again. She slapped him on the same day, and she has not completely vented her anger yet. "Manman, don't leave," Wang Tiankai shouted loudly, trotting quickly in front of Qian Yuman with his long legs, blocking her way. "Why are you angry with me?" Wang Tiankai stared at her with a faint smile on his lips. Qian Yuman snorted coldly at Wang Tiankai. "You have the nerve to say that? Who do you think I am? Just a casual person. I don't want to see you at all now." Qian Yuman avoided Wang Tiankai and wanted to go home. Wang Tiankai raised the goldfish bowl in his hand to Qian Yuman. "Look what this is." Qian Yuman's eyes fell on the small fish tank in Wang Tiankai's hand. There was a cute little turtle in the fish tank, only the size of a palm. It was very cute. Qian Yuman could recognize who the little life in the fish tank was at just one glance. "Little turtle." Qian Yuman smiled brightly and reached out to take the turtle from Wang Tiankai's bathtub. "It's a little turtle, why is it still so small after more than 10 years, she exclaimed, looking at the little turtle in her hand, feeling very kind. The little turtle in Qian Yuman's hand, she recognized at a glance that the little turtle was a birthday gift she bought for Wang Tiankai when she was 8 years old. Although I haven't seen the little turtle again in 11 years, the patterns on its body are deeply etched in my mind. I still remember that when Wang Tiankai received the little turtle, he liked it very much and even gave it a huge luxurious residence. However, Qian Yuman, as the gift giver, liked it even more than the recipient. Therefore, although she gave the little turtle to Wang Tiankai, she would go to see the little turtle every 2 days and loved it even more than its owner. The name of this turtle was also given to it by the two of them after they discussed it together. It was called Little Turtle, which is similar to what they called each other. The little turtle may have recognized Qian Yuman because it moved slowly in her hand and did not shrink into the turtle shell out of fright. "Little turtle, did you miss me?" Qian Yuman gently poked the turtle shell with her fingers, and saw the little turtle wandering with its little claws in the air. It was very cute. When she was a child, her favorite was the little tortoise. Many times she would feel very sad when she saw the turtle sold on the street. Wang Tiankai smiled and poked with his finger. "Think about it, little turtle misses Xiao Tiantian the most. Finally seeing Xiao Tiantian again, little turtle is so happy." Qian Yuman was instantly happy when she heard it. Wang Tiankai saw Qian Yuman happily playing with the turtle, but he was not angry. He went home and ignored him, and the smile on his lips became thicker. It seems that the little turtle has eased the atmosphere between the two. "Manman, I apologize to you. I know that I went too far when I was on the cruise ship last time. It's really, I can't control myself. In fact, I have wanted to tell you that I like you for a long time. This time when I returned to China, I originally intended to pursue you, but when I came back, I learned that you were married." Qian Yuman slowly raised her head and looked at Wang Tiankai, pouting slightly and saying nothing, playing with the little turtle in her hand. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 396. Chapter 396 I've liked you since childhood too. Chapter 396 I've liked you since childhood too. Actually, I have liked you since I was a child. I have always missed you after I left you. Can you understand how I feel that I finally came back to see you but failed? So, forgive me for my impulsiveness last time. I promise that I will definitely do it next time. I won't do anything to make you unhappy again. You promise?" Qian Yuman blinked and looked at Wang Tiankai with a scrutinizing gaze. "I promise." Qian Yuman straightened her chest and let out a breath. "Now that you have said it, let me make it clear to you. Although I did like you when I was a child, after all, we were both young and ignorant at that time. 11 years later, many things have changed. What do you mean to me? I like it maybe just because of my childhood memories. I am different from when I was a child, and I don't know what kind of person you are now. Whatever you confess to me, even if I'm not married, I won't accept it. Maybe you think you like me, but in fact it may be a regret from your childhood. Furthermore, I am already married. Sometimes you still have to keep a certain distance from me. I don't want my husband to misunderstand you and me, especially because he is very dissatisfied with you because of what happened last time. So during this period, you still rarely appear in front of me. And if you continue to touch me, maybe we can't even be friends, so I warn you, if you act impulsively next time, there is no chance that I will forgive you. Okay, okay, I hope Manman can forgive me, Wang Tiankai said with a bright smile. Is there any food for the little turtle? Hello. Qian Yuman looked at the little turtle in his hand with some reluctance and gently put it back into his fish tank. Go back. My husband will pick me up later. I don't want him to see us now and have misunderstandings about us. Qian Yuman directly issued an eviction order. Although he had forgiven him for touching her last time, it did not mean that she could get along with him as naturally as before. Wang Tiankai wanted to say something else, but saw Qian Yuman's firm attitude and looked at the little turtle. Although you are married, it does not prevent me from continuing to like you. Get out of the way, the nice magnetic voice roared with a hint of annoyance. As soon as Qian Yuman raised her head, she saw Tang Yuj getting out of the car, coming to her side elegantly, and holding Qian Yuman's waist possessively. I haven't settled the matter with you for kissing my wife last time. Facing Tang Yuj's angry look, Wang Tiankai not only didn't get angry, but smiled even brighter. Tang Yuj looked down at Qian Yuman and smiled evilly. Honey, go wait for me in the car first, and we'll go find Feishan later. Qian Yuman looked at Tang Yuj and then at Wang Tiankai, feeling a little worried. Mr. Tang, you won't fight again if you disagree. Tang Yuj raised his chin proudly and did not say anything. He could not guarantee whether there would be a fight over a disagreement later. Wang Tiankai asked with a somewhat excited smile. Does Manman feel sorry for me? Tang Yuj rolled his eyes and sneered. I feel sorry for you. I don't have time to feel sorry for you. Your skills are better than mine. Tang Yuj urged Qian Yuman. Qian Yuman was anxious to find Tang Feishan to explain. He had to say a few nice words and ask them to live in peace, and then he slowly walked back to the car to wait. Tang Yuj made sure that Qian Yuman had entered the car, turned back and looked at Wang Tiankai solemnly. The smile on his face disappeared. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 397. Chapter 397 I am your sister-in-law 1. Chapter 397 I am your sister-in-law 1. What else are you going to do? I told you to stay away from her, Tang Yuj said in a deep voice, looking at Wang Tiankai with very complicated eyes. I said, I want to Manman from your hands. Do you think I said it casually? Unfortunately not, I am very serious. Wang Tiankai smiled gently, but there was a hint of evil in his gentle smile. It feels like the look in his eyes is different from before, a little more calculating. There is a limit to my tolerance for you, Tang Yuj scolded angrily. Wang Tiankai shrugged and looked at Qian Yuman with dark eyes. Seeing that she had been staring at what was going on here, he smiled brightly at her. Limits? You still have limits for me. 11 years ago, you and I couldn't change the status quo. You and I will only be enemies in this life. Wang Tiankai left without looking back. No longer continue to discuss with Tang Yuj, even if the discussion does not lead to any results. Enemy? Brother, is it really impossible for us to go back to the past? Tang Yuj said in a calm tone, but that calm tone was mixed with helplessness and a touch of hatred. After Tang Yuj came back, Qian Yuman pulled Tang Yuj to ask questions, with a bright smile on his face. "Husband, I didn't expect you two to fight." Tang Yuj raised his arrogant chin and said something arrogant. "Am I that kind of person? Really? A handsome man like your husband will not do anything easily." "Oh, then on the cruise ship last time, whoever came up was punched," Qian Yuman teased with a smile. Tang Yuj laughed out loud and stretched out his hand to pinch Qian Yuman's face. "You are very proud, right? It's not good for my wife to be too beautiful. Someone is thinking about her every day. A senior has left and another Wang has come. I feel bad." Qian Yuman smiled and clapped his hands, frowning and complaining. "You're still talking about me. It's not easy for me either. Not long ago, I managed to drive away Qi Yuking, and another Fang Qingguo came. I'm very tired, okay." After saying Fang Qingguo's name, Qian Yuman's flowery face quickly appeared in her mind, and her body couldn't help but tremble. Tang Yuj was angry and funny when he mentioned Fang Qingguo. He is still at home, waiting for him to return. "Honey, I have decided not to go back to Tang's house these days until my cousin leaves." Oh. It turns out that there are still people in this world that sugar babies are afraid of. How rare, Qian Yuman teased with some gloating. She really likes Fang Qingguo, and the existence of this love rival will not make her unhappy. The two of them drove to the suburbs to find Tang Feishan. The road there was a bit long and it took an hour to drive. On the way, they talked to each other about Tang Feishan. Tang Yuj said directly that based on his understanding of this younger brother, even if they broke up, he would not say such heavy words to make Qi Lili sad. There must be other misunderstandings. He even boldly guessed that Tang Fei was killed by Tang Fei on the cruise ship last time. He broke through them, but with Tang Feishan's character, he endured it and kept everything in mind. It was only when she was found in Tang Yuj's room this time that it became a trigger point for him to completely break up with Qi Lili. Qian Yuman also felt that Tang Yuj's analysis was right. Tang Feishan had a lot of feelings for Qi Lili. For example, last time on the cruise ship, Tang Feishan saw Qian Yuman being threatened and was willing to trade himself for Qian Yuman. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 398. Chapter 398 I am your sister-in-law too. Chapter 398 I am your sister-in-law too. If Tang Feishan really saw Qian Yuman being kissed by Wang Tiankai at that time, he would still be willing to do so, which would further express the importance of Qi Lili in Tang Feishan's heart. After a round of analysis, I feel that there is still room for the two of them. After listening to Tang Yuj's analysis, Qian Yuman instantly felt relaxed. Before, she had been worried that she would ruin her sister's happiness. Now it seems that there is a good chance that they can get back together. Tang Yuj and the others arrived at Tang Feishan's residence in the suburbs. The door was closed tightly at the moment. No matter how they rang the doorbell, no one answered. Maybe Feishan is drunk, Tang Yuj guessed. Hey, you can guess this, Qian Yuman looked suspicious. Tang Yuj raised his chin confidently and said narcissistically. Who am I, your husband? Don't you smell the faint aroma of wine in the air? It obviously means that Fei Chen has been drinking, and a lot. When Qian Yuman heard the news, he smiled instead of getting angry and said excitedly. It's funny. It seems that our guess just now is right. Fei Chen must have drank to relieve his sadness because he broke up with Lili. The reason why no one responded is because he drank and fell unconscious. Qian Yuman was a little excited, and now she wanted to rush in through the door. Tang Yuj took out his mobile phone and prepared to make a call. I'll get a locksmith to open the door. She stretched out her hand to stop Tang Yuj's hand from making the phone call, and imitated his proud expression with a smile. I'm here, do you still need to find a locksmith? Qian Yuman took out a set of keys from her bag, which contained car keys and several small iron rods. She waved the universal lock key in her hand proudly. I carry it with me everywhere, it's convenient for committing crimes at any time. Qian Yuman turned around, inserted the small iron rod into the keyhole, and hurriedly opened the lock. I learned this skill from Lili. If Lili were here, it would only take 1 minute to open the door. I'm half-assed and it will take a little time. Qian Yuman was busy unlocking the door, and finally successfully opened the door 5 minutes later. After the door opened, a strong smell of alcohol rushed out. Qian Yuman smelled the smell of alcohol. It was so strong that she covered her mouth in discomfort and retched. Qian, are you okay? Tang Yu supported Qian Yuman with concern. Qian Yuman waved her hands and tried to stop the feeling of vomiting. Wait for me here for a while. Tang Yu ran in and immediately opened all the windows and turned on the air purifier to quickly dissipate the strong smell of alcohol in the room. Qian Yuman waited until Qian Yuman could tolerate the smell of alcohol before she walked in to take a look. Qian Yuman walked into the villa and saw countless wine bottles poured on the ground, all of which were empty. Can't help but sigh. How much wine did Fei Chen drink? Looking at the amount of wine, she couldn't help but admire him. In the future, when she has a chance, after she gives birth to her child, she will have a drinking contest with Tang Feishan to see who has the higher drinking capacity. Mr. Tang, have you found it? Tang Yuj ran to the second floor of the villa, while Qian Yuman was shouting at the top of her lungs downstairs. Who is it? It's so noisy. An impatient voice came from behind the sofa. The speaker sat up from the ground in a trance, looking ahead blankly with his eyes still awake. Xia Hongyang, Qian Yuman shouted and walked quickly to Xia Hongyang. Xia Hongyang heard someone calling his name. He raised his head and looked at Qian Yuman. He suddenly woke up from the wine and quickly stood up from the ground. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 399. Chapter 399 I am your sister-in-law 3. Chapter 399 I am your sister-in-law 3. Xia Hongyang shouted happily. Master Lei, why are you here? You are here to see Feishan, ouch. Xia Hongyang walked towards Qian Yuman. He didn't see the wine bottle on the ground, so he stepped on it with his feet in the air, so that he could see the chandelier on the ceiling more easily. The way Xia Hongyang fell down immediately made Qian Yi burst into laughter. When she heard him hit the ground hard, she felt pain. Where is Feishan? Qian Yuman looked around, wondering why there was only Xia Hongyang and not Tang Feishan. Xia Hongyang looked at Qian Yuman's bright smile, lost his mind for a while, and thought with a slow frown. Lei Ye seems to be a little different today. He smiles so brightly and has a different kind of charm. It's not right. Lei Ye would not smile like that, not to mention a bright smile. It was hard to see a smile. He once tempted her with a box of money, but Qi Lili gave her a severe beating. Master Lei, Xia Hongyang suddenly screamed, walked up to Qian Yuman and poked her with his hand. I wasn't dreaming. Are you my Master Lei? Qian Yuman glanced at him and couldn't help but roll her eyes. She asked Feishan several times but didn't answer. I'm not Lili, I'm her sister Qian Yuman. Sister Manman, Xia Hongyang shouted at the top of his lungs again, while bursting into ecstatic laughter. My cutest sister Manman, you really exist, ha ha ha. That's great. Qian Yuman was too lazy to communicate with Xia Hongyang, who was smiling like a lunatic. If he couldn't find the question, he could only find it himself. Honey, I'm upstairs, come up quickly. Tang Yu's voice came down from upstairs. Qian Yuman immediately ran up. Xia Hongyang also heard the words wife and immediately followed him upstairs to find out. When Qian Yuman saw Tang Feishan, he was so pitiful that his elder brother grabbed his head and pressed it into the sink. The water was squeezed out. People who didn't know thought he was killing someone. "Mr. Tang, what are you doing?" Qian Yuman trotted over and snatched Tang Feishan from Tang Yu's hand. "Sober up. How can you wake up like this? Is he your brother?" Qian Yuman glared at Tang Yu in disgust. At this moment, Tang Feishan was in a very embarrassed state. There was a lot of alcohol on his white suit that he wore all year round. His whole head was wet, water drops were constantly dripping from his hair, and his upper body was also wet. He looked as embarrassed as he wanted. This is definitely the first time I have seen Tang Feishan in such an embarrassing state. I have never seen him in even 1/10 of his state of embarrassment before. Tang Feishan was completely sober after being so tormented by Tang Yu, and he just looked ahead in confusion. "Don't catch a cold." Qian Yuman found a bath towel and put it on him, and wanted to help wipe it, but Tang Yu snatched it away. "I'll come, just come." Qian Yuman looked at him funnily and didn't mind at all. "I'll do it myself." Tang Feishan, who was completely awake, wiped his hair by himself. His voice was so hoarse that it was difficult to hear clearly what he said. Qian Yuman pursed her lips and said nothing, waiting for him to wipe them clean before getting to the point. Xia Hongyang was so shocked when he went upstairs and saw Tang Yu. "It's so big." He just heard Tang Yu calling Sister Manman his wife, and saw them acting intimately. "What does this mean? They have a leg. What's the relationship between you two? Are you a couple?" Xia Hongyang stretched his head out of his head and looked back and forth between the two of them. "If the subscription data is good today, I will add updates. Remember to vote, monthly vote, recommendation vote. If the chapters are confusing, delete the cached bookshelf and read again. Thank you concubines for coming to support me today. I love you. Please subscribe today. Your Majesty will add more updates. Welcome to join the VIP reader group, group number 4558757040. Husband, the bed is about to collapse. Official VIP group, please write down your subscription nickname when joining the group. Please send a screenshot of the fan value to the administrator within 1 hour to join the group. Disciples need 2000 points to enter, those who are less than full can add after full. Recommended votes, monthly bills, bank notes, continue to contribute. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the world. Chapter 400. Chapter 400. I am your sister-in-law. 4, additional update. Hearing Xia Honjiang's words, Tang Feishan took off the towel on his head and his eyes fell on Qian Yuman. His gentle eyes were always staring at Qian Yuman. Qian Yuman smiled brightly and extended her hand to greet her cheerfully, leaving a good impression on her brother-in-law and future brother-in-law. Flying to the ground. Tang Fei was stunned for a moment, staring at Qian Yuman without blinking, as if he wanted to see her through, the faint sadness in his eyes diminishing little by little. "Lili," Tang Feishan drank wine all night and spoke hoarsely. His throat was sore and uncomfortable, but it did not prevent him from knowing the truth. The feeling between the person in front of him and Lili's was so different. Lili had never smiled at him with such a bright smile. Lili's smile was always light, with the corners of her lips raised slightly, and she never smiled with her teeth exposed. What's more, call his name in a relaxed and pleasant tone. Especially because he said strong words to break up to her yesterday. Based on his understanding of her, she will definitely not look back to him again. So he judged that the person in front of him was Lili's twin sister Qi Manman, as his friend said. Although he was sure in his heart that it was not Lili, he was still a little afraid. He was afraid that it was still Lili, just a mask that had never faced him, and he was afraid that the hope he had finally raised would be dashed again. "Feishan, why are you so dazed?" Jianyuman still smiled brightly, just to distinguish herself from Qi Lili so that Tang Feishan would not be able to tell them clearly. Hello, I would like to formally introduce myself to you. I am Jianyuman, Lili's twin sister. Nice to meet you. She walked up to Tangyuj and put her arm around him intimately. She is also your eldest brother's new wife and your eldest sister-in-law. Sister-in-law, Tang Feishan was in a daze for a moment and looked at Jianyuman in disbelief. Are you my eldest brother's new wife whom I have never met? Although Tang Feishan had guessed before, the person he saw might not be Qi Lili. I suspect that the woman I saw yesterday is Qi Manman, and she has a close relationship with her eldest brother. But I never thought that she might be the eldest brother's wife. Seeing Jianyuman and his eldest brother appear in front of him in such a close relationship, it was still difficult for him to digest, and it even felt unreal. It's as if you clearly know something and are mentally prepared. When the truth is spread out in front of you, you suddenly rise from the of sadness, waving the world but unable to touch the ground, and the whole person is floating. Excited and happy, but afraid that it was all a dream. Lili really has a twin sister. He is not just guessing, there is such a person. Thinking of what he said to Qi Lili yesterday, Tang Feishan felt very regretful. He misunderstood her, severed the relationship between the two, and even said many hurtful words against his will. Jianyuman nodded with a smile and lifted her straight hair. Lili has curly hair, and mine has straight hair. Although we are twins, our personalities are completely different. Jianyuman kept her eyes on Tang Feishan, lest he still didn't believe it, so she chirped about the difference between the two, trying her best to prove that she was not Qi Lili. Tang Fei was stunned for a few seconds, then covered his eyes with his hands, with a bright smile that he had never seen before on his face. He was really happy. Lili didn't feel sorry for him. He had misunderstood everything. Lili, my beloved Lili. He couldn't describe his joy in words. He smiled and his eyes couldn't help but get wet. End of this chapter.